Good afternoon, Professor Kaylor. I hope you're doing very well. Well, today I'm going to discuss about my growth pronunciations for assignment number 2, which is about the last recording that I sent to you at the beginning of this quarter. Well, doing this, it made me realize how much I have improved in English speaking, especially in pronunciation. Well, near mine, I have all my transcriptions which is about the last recording that I sent to you. Well, in this part I have a paper with the bigger mistakes that I made. Well, at the same time I realized that I communicated my message clearly from start to finish. That is very amazing. But at the same time, it made me realize that I made many mistakes in pronunciation, word stress, vowel reduction, rhythm, intonation, linking and pausing words. Well, now let me start with the word stress, the first. Well, I used to pronounce all syllables with the same power. For example, I said opportunity in a flat way. Now note that the stress goes on the third syllable, opportunity. This makes my words clear and easy to understand. Well, the second, about vowel reduction, I used to say full vowel in a most word. I said for a job with a strong sound instead of using weak forms like for a job, for a job. Well, reducing these small words give English its natural music and rhythm. Well, my original rhythm was very flat because I didn't make important words stand, but also I missed simple word connections like joining went and out to say went out or went out, that is more common. And I also pass in the middle of ideas saying and then pause, they take their path instead of saying it together in one group. Well, for sentence stress, I used to put too much power on a small words like was and and. And at the same time, it made me realize some grammar mistakes, such as they take their path and I take my path. The real grammar rules is they took their path and I took my path. So that sounds the real grammar rules. Well, now I know I must emphasize important words, nouns, action, verbs, and adjectives, so the message is clear. My intonation was also very flat, like a robot. For example, when saying it was a challenging situation, my voice didn't move. Now I use speech to sound more natural and interested. Overall, my first recording had many breaks. Now my speech flows much better. Well, now I'm going to discuss about the bigger mistakes that I made during the recording. For example, in this sentence, such as I said in the recording, I asked them if they could give me the opportunity to work with them. Sounds in the straight line. But now I know that I should say that I asked them if they could give me the opportunity to work with them. And another sentence is, I went out to look for a job. I went for the bakery company. I went out to look for a job. I went for the bakery company. And another sentence is, it was one of the most challenging situations that happened in my life. It was one of the most challenging situations that happened in my life. Sounds more natural in English spoken. Well, now I have another mistake in some questions. For example, so what I did in that moment, the real question and real grammar rule is, so what did I in that moment in writing at the end of the sentence? So those are things that need to improve not only into class as well outside the class, because you know the real speaking all the time. Well, now I'm going to answer some questions for about that you put in your PDF. For example, how do you plan to continue improving your pronunciation after this course? Well, I remember when we had a trip the last year, in the third quarter, when you say something important that you improve your pronunciations, um, during, well, using those books. For example, the first book that is vowels and those kind of things, and the other books that the, well, as you know. And well, I realized that I need to improve my vocabulary and pronunciation, and the same thing. So I remember that, and I continue improving my skill that way. So thank you so much, teacher, for your teaching, for your feedback, for all in this quarter. So you are a master in English. You know you are amazing. You are good, man. So I never seen something like that in my high school. Well, actually, I didn't know any word in English. So you know all my progress the last year comparing with this quarter, amazing. So, but I try to improve every day. So thank you so much. I feel so grateful for all you teaching. So thank you so much, teacher.